Here we go. What's up, New England? The Room Podcast, Wednesday night.
What's up?
Steve Domenico, Tommy Sheahood.
Here we are again.
What's up, my friend?
Same bat channel, same bat place.
How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you.
I'm doing very well today.
Good, good.
We had last week off.
Yep.
You know what? It was a good idea having last week off. I did an interview with Mike Antidormi, who is fighting for CES this past Saturday.
Yep. Saw some of that.
And I did it on Wednesday, and the band was rehearsing.
Oh, shit.
So it was kind of overlapping. It wasn't terrible. It was kind of
Sure.
halfway
Yeah.
through it.
I don't really think I heard too much of it, but I
Yeah,
didn't listen to the whole
you
thing.
know, you're hearing this like
Sure.
garage band in the back.
Okay.
You know.
Fuckers.
Antidormi was laughing.
I bet. Yeah. He's a funny shit.
It's like, it's good. So he won. He had a knockout for his
Good.
pro debut.
Good,
So
good.
shout out to Mike Antidormi for that big win Saturday night.
Pro
CES.
debut.
Anything exciting happened to you over the weekend?
What the fuck was up this weekend? No, not a lot. I kind of some of my plans fell through. I wanted to go see some music at Great Woods in Mansfield, and no one wanted to do anything, so then I didn't end up doing anything.
So you didn't do much, just hang out.
Nope,
It was
yeah.
beautiful though,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it-
The
yep,
weather
it
started
was.
getting cool, cool off.
So I went to my friend's 40th birthday party. Gary, what's up? Saturday night, and it was hot as balls when we went there. Fucking storm central, lightning, and then cooled off, and it's been cool since.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, I don't know. Just a percentage of the New England community knows that I've fallen off the wagon with, the weed. It's not an everyday thing. It's not all the time, but I've partake.
More than you were.
I went my 3 months or so, and then I started,
stretch.
taking a little bit here and there.
Yeah, enjoy it a
but
little more.
anyway, Saturday I went out with buddies. We went to see a band, and I took some mushrooms.
Oh my God.
On Saturday. How old am I?
You scandalous.
And I took some mushrooms my buddy had, and we had a fucking ball.
Yeah, you were feeling
I
good.
also smoked some pot too.
Yo,
and
you
drank
got
a
to.
bunch of beers.
When you take mushrooms, a friend once told me, you got to smoke weed with it.
Yeah, it kicks it in.
Yeah, it's all about it, and then
And
then after the fact, you smoke a little more later, you start going back up. It's like a little roller coaster.
well, yeah. So Saturday took the mushrooms, and we had a great time. And it wasn't like it didn't hit me like times before.
Sure.
When you're just sitting there and you know it's coming, and all of a sudden it pops up and lights kind of dimmer
You see
and
faces
kind
in the
of
walls.
get more prettier.
Yep.
And then you know you're in for the ride.
Sure.
It didn't happen this time. It was just like,
loud music and stuff.
yeah, I was at a band.
That'll
and
do
we
it.
kind of got like into it. And
Yeah.
the UFC was on. I was kind of
yeah.
going in between that.
Yep. And CES was on at that time too.
hanging out with my friends. I danced.
Yeah,
I fucking danced, bro.
that'll do it. That'll put
I
your
was
dancing
good
shoes
too.
on.
I do pretty good.
You
man.
probably
I'm pretty
thought you were
flexible
good.
for an old man.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing a twist. I was down on my ass almost,
Sheesh,
man.
sheesh.
My fucking thighs hurt today. My hammies and my thighs.
What did you really do
I'm not
that
used
night?
to doing that, man. Stop that. So anyway, I had a great
Cool,
weekend.
cool.
Sunday, it continued. I had Sunday off. I slept till 2 in the afternoon.
bit of recovery.
And then we went to see a band outside, an AC/DC tribute band.
Oh, sick.
Outside. Who Made Who? They were fucking
crushed it?
fabulous. And what happened there was I had a couple of beers and took another hit of a pot. And mushrooms, I think, kind of
Sure, a little
came
residual
back
effects.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It was good.
That's good. That's
So
great. That sounds great.
Yeah, I was in bed by 9:30 Sunday night.
Yep, recovering.
And I had Monday off, so went to see my daughter. My daughter is now in Bismarck, fucking South Dakota,
Oh, jeez.
with her boyfriend. She flew there for a week.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say like
I hung
for
out with her
vacation?
Monday. So I had a great weekend, man.
Dude,
I had a
sounds
full
awesome.
friggin' weekend.
Yeah, that sounds full.
Usually I don't have that much to tell you, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Usually you do something fun
Something,
a day.
but not taking mushrooms and
No, that's fun.
tripping,
That's exciting.
dancing.
Yeah, right. That's
fucking
fun.
scaring people and shit, man.
Were they? Now this is going to turn into a drug episode,
All
but
right, whatever. We got a few minutes.
yeah. Were
Before
they actual
Nick Hailer
shroom
comes
mushrooms?
Yeah, they were actual
cool.
grown in shit
The
mushrooms.
piece of the mushrooms and those are always
Yeah,
better.
and we took, I don't know, I took a few.
Yep.
Couple
of
course a night. Yeah, I took a stem and a cap, and then,
Just chew it right up like a
stem-
savage.
Oh, yeah, fucking cotton mouth, foaming.
hate that.
Foaming at the mouth.
That's how I like it in
little bit.
tea form. I'll make the big pot of tea myself, and
Well, my buddy, my other buddy, eating candy bars.
Sure.
You have them,
Yeah.
you have
Yep.
them in candy bars
Yep.
also.
yeah, yep. I've had them before. Prefer the regular mushrooms.
So just you know, I don't want to go into a drug fucking podcast here.
We should dedicate an
But
episode to that.
mushrooms and weed was and rock and roll was the theme of the weekend.
It
was gorgeous
There's no
weekend.
better. Yeah, right.
So
weather
this
was
weekend, which time we got? We got about 5 minutes. So this weekend, we are playing our recital.
Oh, nice.
On Sunday.
Yeah,
So
you were
I'm
talking
playing a
about
couple of songs in front of moms and dads.
Yeah. You guys gonna be going
Moms
nuts.
and dads.
You'll be like, are these the teachers?
Yeah, who are these? We call ourselves the nobodies.
Nice.
So
That's
the
the band
nobodies
name?
are up.
Nice.
So we're gonna play a couple of songs. We're doing a "Knocking on Heaven's Door" and a Tom Petty song. And
Good. You're gonna rock
God
out.
be with us.
Yeah. You're gonna be fucking.
So tomorrow's lessons and last practice before, you know.
For the big
we
gig.
play like 10 songs at practice,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
But only 2 of them are good enough to play in
Mm-hmm.
front of
You
people.
can only manage 2 of them all together.
All the way through.
Yeah, all together.
All the way through.
funny.
Ending at the same time.
Yep. You think there's gonna be any hiccups in the song as you go?
Not by me.
Yeah.
Not
Confidence.
by me.
Confidence.
Yeah,
That's good.
well, I'm running the show.
Yeah,
bro.
you're keeping the beat.
I have to be the guy that fills in the gaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna
We're just learning
You're
here.
gonna be spinning your sticks like
You know what I
Tommy
mean?
Lee and shit.
No, I won't be doing that.
In front of all the parents.
I don't want to scare anyone. Poke
You take your
eyes
shirt
out.
off and
I don't want to
shit.
poke any eyes out. Fucking, I'm
You guys should all take your shirts off
not
and do
ready
it.
for that. Just fucking spell the nobodies. There is like 5 of us.
Yeah.
How many is? Yeah, 6.
All kind of like the same age guys.
Yeah. Well, I think. Oh yeah, one of them's a retired state trooper.
Oh, jeez.
Rhode Island state trooper.
Nice.
He is. He's probably about 8 to 10 years older than me. Definitely in his late 60s.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a good time. It's
Cool.
like, you know, drink a couple of beers.
That's what it's all about.
Play some
Play some rock and roll.
a little rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So I think the next song we're gonna learn is play that funky music. You know,
Who's that? Casey and the Sunshine Band? Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, but so many people have remade it
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if that's original or what? Yeah, cool. That's a cool song. And
So yeah, I'm excited about Sunday. You know, it's for the kids.
yeah.
It's mostly for the kids.
Yeah, and the kids you'll see are all really proud of their
But
stuff.
we're kind of starting off the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're playing our 2 songs and I'm drinking beer and
Yeah.
eating hot dogs
Bingo.
after that.
Hot dogs. Is that what they're serving?
It's outside.
Yeah, nice.
It's outside.
Little
So
cookout.
it's a cookout.
Nice.
Outside of the bar. It's a bar.
Yep.
That have bands inside and outside.
oh,
but
cool.
the music studio happened to rent out the bar that day. We did it last year. It was packed.
Yeah?
But it was inside.
Okay.
This time, hopefully, the weather's nice this Sunday and it's outside and it's just gonna be
Beautiful.
drinking beers
Yeah.
and listening to some. So was it? It was School of Rock. Some School
Yeah.
of Rock happened.
Nice. That's
it's good,
cool.
man.
Yeah, you guys are like the teachers.
Fucking yeah, exactly. You know, what I mean? Well, the guitar player, one of the guitar players that we're playing with is the instructor.
Oh, yeah.
One of the guitar instructors there, and 2 of the guys playing with are his students.
Oh, nice.
And the bass player is actually my drum instructor. He's playing bass.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm his guy.
So these are all you're all just like the,
We're all
the team.
students.
Yeah, you're all a team.
Yeah, we're all students.
That's cool.
And the cool thing about the bass player who's my drum instructor is he's not, you know, he's learning the bass now too. So it's kind of cool.
Very good.
You
Very
know what
good.
I mean? So he's not like, you know, we're like fucking,
Not slapping
you know
it
what I mean?
around.
Yeah, we're all kind of learning the songs
Cool.
and figuring it out. So it's
And they're all
it's pretty
songs
good.
that you like and stuff. So
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Fucking stuff. So.
very cool. Rock and roll, man.
So with that said, man, sorry to bore everyone, but
Not boring.
You know what I mean?
They want to hear about our
We
lives.
have Nick Hailer coming on from Cage Titans. Going to be talking about a little Cage Titans 60, behind the scenes, all the stuff that goes into the social media, and putting out them fabulous, fabulous clips and videos and all that stuff that gets the fighters out there and kind of promotes them all over. You know, it's not just Instagram. They have TikTok.
So much.
You know, they
And
have
that guy Nick
Twitch.
crushes it. Yeah, seems like the good production team over there right now, making that all happen.
Yeah, he's got a crew behind him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yup.
So we'll have him on, and we'll talk about you know, the inner workings of Cage Titans social media.
Maybe he'll give us some
Stuff
dirt
like
on
that.
Polvere before we have him on.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know, I did ask if they wanted to be on at the same time, but Nick kind of wants to just more promote the
Sure.
Instagram.
Yeah, he's like, fuck that guy.
But Nick's also saying I wouldn't get a fucking word in
Right.
if I was.
Oh,
on
yeah,
with
he
Mike,
knows.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck. I need give me my own 15 minutes, man. Fuck this shit. So,
Yep.
let me message him. We got a minute. See if he's ready. and this is the first time Nick is on. As far as I had him on like pre-COVID when I didn't have the video in. He was just in phone call.
Okay.
And this is before he actually worked for Cage Titans. He he's good. He does stuff for his own business. He's a photographer also, him and his wife. So
Okay.
What's up? Is there people fucking
People
play Stairway?
chatting.
They're talking about drums. That's fucking funny. Wants me to play a 15-minute fucking song.
Stairway denied.
All right, let me call Nick. Oh, so they're watching from YouTube.
Yeah, let's chat. YouTube chat.
Fucking awesome. Nick Hailer.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, my man?
Yo, what's up?
What's going on with you guys?
What are you
man?
doing? Are you outside your house or you taking a walk down through the park or something?
No, so this is in my backyard. My wife
you wanna put that down,
is
Steve?
like a landscape designer,
Just so
so
I can see
she
it.
put in like this whole new porch and this skylight thing over the hammock. And my front screen is cracked. I'm not like you're not tripping, and I'm not magical.
Well, we were just talking about shrooms.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, sorry to say, you remember how proud you were of me of getting healthy and quitting smoking and stuff like that. I fell off the wagon a little bit, Nick. And when I seen you at Cage Titan 60, you said something to me. He goes, you're looking good, man. You're all healthy.
Yep.
I didn't have the heart to tell you that I was stoned out of my mind when you said that to me.
Hey, you can be both.
Kind of had a feeling, but you know what, dude? I did the same thing right around the same time you quit the Devil's Lettuce. I put down the booze. I stopped drinking beer every night, and I just felt such like a kind of a kinship because it's tough to give up something that you like and
Sure.
that you don't feel like it's doing much harm to you, but you feel like you need to switch up something. And sometimes that one thing can make such a difference. And I'm not saying it was all because of weed, man. I don't really know anything about what's going on in your day to day, but I've noticed just over the last year, and it's not just you, it's everybody in the media scene has been putting out excellent content and working so hard, showing so much present at all the shows, giving love to a lot of fighters. Yeah, man, I'm really happy about the space that our community is in right now. And
Hell yeah.
I'm really happy to be back on the show after so many years, man. It's a really cool trip. I appreciate all the nice things you guys say about my work and about the team's work. But yeah, I definitely do have a production team behind me. Shout outs to Ed and Raf who put together and shot the video we dropped today, the recap videos. They do it every time. And also special happy birthday to our head photographer, Jacob Taylor. It's his birthday today.
Oh, nice. What's up?
All
Happy
the
birthday.
photo albums are dropped today, so guys can stop crying to me about it. And yeah, man.
Yeah, so Ed and
also,
Raph
guys,
are my
just to make this
teammates.
clear to everybody, my last name is Hailer, not Hailer.
Hailer.
And that's the way I pronounce it.
Of course.
Hailer.
Well, you say everything wrong.
Hailer.
Yeah, you say everything wrong.
I pronounce my own name wrong, so it's
Well, the only people that get it right are German people and sometimes Brazilians. So
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it, but it's just like I think it's like a troll at this point. Like everybody's just like, he's just Nick Hailer. We're not calling him by his right name.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
that.
Well, no one ever gets my last name right. They always say it's Shahud or all that. So I honestly don't even correct them anymore anyway, you know?
Yep. Oh, also, homeboy, dude, you've been an awesome add to this show.
Oh,
I
thanks,
love
man.
your back and forth.
Uh-huh.
I also, dude, it's great to have to see Steve be able to bounce off somebody and
Oh, yeah.
have a conversation with somebody because he can fly the plane solo. I've seen him done it when he was doing
Sure.
the Fight Companions. I would go back and like rewatch everything and
Oh, it's-
I would watch along with them. But yeah, man, it's just so cool to see two dudes that just genuinely like, talking about what they talk about.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, definitely got to come out and see the set sometime. I'm
Thank
a big
you.
fan of old Dad Rock.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, my man, as you mentioned, the last time you were on, I didn't have video in here. I think that you phoned in, and that was a while back when you were doing mostly stuff for Lozans. You were doing their social media, highlighting their fighters, Joe and that gym. You've grown, man. I had to be like 4 years ago. It was pre-COVID. You were doing your own business. I think it was before you went into, I think, Reebok you worked with,
Yep.
but it was all before that. So you've grown,
Yeah.
you've grown immensely in that time as far as the MMA community and doing stuff. I mean, you did great stuff for Lozon, but that has branched off into the MMA community. Dude, let's talk about that. How did you get involved with taking over that media and doing your thing for Cage Titans?
Wow, I mean, like, First of all, like we mentioned, it all goes back to Lozon. That crew at Lozon MMA and Joe Lozon specifically, I have always a special space in my heart, man. And we came up there, and I was just the right place, the right time, man. I was there with Randy coming in, Marty making his pro debut, Pat Gilbride, guys like Andrew Valdina and Dan Walsh hadn't even debuted yet. Amateur Mitch Raposo, early Rob Font and Calvin Cater were coming through that gym. I mean, it was a crazy time, and it introduced me and got me into a lot of great places. And yeah, man, it's been crazy. And as far as the Cage Titans thing, so after Reebok, and I had actually worked for Brendan Schaub and Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell for a cup of coffee at Mocha Media. It was during the pandemic, and once that ended, I just, we remember, we didn't know Cage Titans was coming back after pandemic. I mean, they weren't posting. There was no talks of it. Then the rumor got out about the No Fan show, and I just immediately, threw my hat in the ring. I was like, hey, if you guys need anything, let me know, because if it's a No Fan show, you're definitely going to need social media, and I'd love to come shoot it. And, we got on board. We were making the plans for the No Fan show, and then the fans showed up. Everything opened up, and then just from there, it just became this big snowball effect where Cage Titans just kept getting bigger and bigger with every single show, and we kept raising the bar every show. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. And also I appreciate Mike, especially for allowing me to go out there, try to do my vision, and also make mistakes, because if you look at my work, there's definitely a couple mistakes out there. I definitely missed.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and also just the input of Andy, all the great media people that have been involved, man. I mean, yeah, dude, I feel like the luckiest bum in the world. Like, I get to sit cage side with my camera, and then I get to go on this platform and share it out with everybody. And then for some reason, people think I'm special. It's like, dude, I just feel like I gotta be there. Like, really, I feel like I gotta be there. So I appreciate it all. I really do. Again, without the guys setting up the cage, the fighters getting in the cage, the commission, all the people that are involved with it, who am I doing it for? It's about everybody else. It's not about me.
Well, Nick, you mentioned that there was going to be a no fans show.
Yeah, right. I didn't hear that.
I never knew that.
Right.
Was that like hush?
That was
I had no idea.
Super insider beans.
All right.
Super insider beans.
So
imagine
that's
that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty.
We were
damn
talking
cool.
about pins. I'm sure Mike could go into more clarification. I'm sure more people are tuning in to hear from Mike tonight. Yeah. Truthfully, like, my favorite part of the breakdown shows for every show is when you go through the Instagrams.
Yeah,
you just go one by one, post by post.
Yeah, I have that. We'll click on that. Toward the end here, and we'll go through. We'll show like the work of you and your crew and stuff like that. But Nick, when you put your name in the hat, it wasn't hard to see your work that you've put out in the past, because not only did you do stuff for Lozon's at the gym, you traveled with the fighters that were fighting at Cage Titans, other promotions, but Cage Titans seemed to give us as media a little more leniency to, travel with your fighters and get that footage of them. And you did that with all the Lozon fighters that would fight for Cage Titans. You would follow them, give them like a documentary of their fight, something beautiful that you put together. So you have a lot of content out there that, Mike definitely looked at and said, all right, this is definitely a guy that can get us rolling on the social media aspect.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And also, it's so funny that I went from making like documentaries and all these long form stuff to now I just make like 7 and 8 second reels and TikToks and highlights.
Clips.
I mean, like Raph and Ed do the hard work of putting together those long edits and stuff. I do throw my hat in on some of this stuff, but yeah, the game has changed so much since I've been in it. And the thing is, like, I tell people that want to work for Cage Titans, because we're starting to add more to our team. It's all about, first of all, you got to show that you want to be there and that you want to contribute. Everything that I shot for Lozon's, I willingly and happily shared with Cage Titans. And anytime Mike, ever asked for anything, I was always on top of it. And also, the beautiful thing about Cage Titans, and why I think it's a special brand, is that, it really is a much more community vibe. Everybody throws in a little something to make Cage Titans what it is. It's Mike's adding what he brings, and Andy brings what he brings, and then when we have Ken in the booth, when we have Richie going, I mean, there's just even the people in the back. It's such a cool community vibe that you don't get in any other sporting event. The only thing I can think of that comes close is like I don't know, like a concert or a band that everybody follows, and it's like, dude, I hope these guys don't end up playing arenas and this doesn't like lose its cool, man, because I love seeing them in this small venue. The gang's all here, we're the real fans, and yeah, it's like being a part of like a really cool band right now.
Excellent.
Well,
my
I think
man.
the
And-
venue makes a big deal on that since it
Oh,
never
yeah.
changes as well. It's kind of like the home base.
Well, having the hall is it. I remember they were talking about a movie. It's just like it's a character in the show.
Yes.
The hall is a part of the show
perfect.
just as much as anything else. And I think the reason why we go viral all the time is a lot of people are looking at the venue. It's like, where is this? And what is this? It looks like an unlockable level on a video game. It doesn't seem like it should be real.
It's a historical
And-
building.
Yeah, it's like oh yeah, if you get enough V-Bucks, you can buy this level. It doesn't seem like real when
it's-
you're in there, and then the acoustics in there are amazing. Like again, like we all come out of the music scene, the music industry. I've played a bunch of different venues. There's very little that compares with a fight night in that hall.
Place
Like
gets
it
jamming.
stands up to any show I've ever seen in any genre.
Hey, Nick, you mentioned that, you went from doing these, documentary, these long, kind of commercial type productions to 7-second clips. Man, that's not an
Yeah.
easy task because you got to catch it at the right moment. And I think that's kind of something, Mark Delagrat, he does something on that, sort of something like that. He lets the commentary and the camera angles kind of know the action and what's coming up. He kind of feels when the action or a finish or something huge is coming. That's not an easy task to catch the crowd, to catch that highlight. And you got to go through hours of video. I mean, and it's just not you. Like you said, you have Rafi, you have, a photographer, you have someone else taking video. You got shit going on in the back with the interviews. So you got a shitload of stuff to go through and produce in a short amount of time.
Yeah, but like anything else, you stay consistent with anything long enough, you just learn the patterns and your rhythms, and it just becomes easier over time. And but also again, like we just have such great materials, it's hard to miss. Everybody in the world can connect with fighting. Like anybody can appreciate a good knockout. So we have global reach. We know that. Nobody in the fight game at all has the venue that we do, has the type of live and engaged crowd that we do. And, I also don't think that any promotion in the world is as personable as we are, because it's really just like 4 or 5 dudes. You can it's not like a nameless faceless brand. Like, if you're talking at us, we're not the UFC. We'll talk back.
Yeah, Mike is
Not in a
definitely
mean way, but,
reachable.
like,
You can reach
we
out
have
and
a
touch him.
connection with our fans.
Exactly. Very personable as as a staff, everyone in there. And a lot of the staff are former fans.
Yeah.
Fans and fighters.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
Our motto has become fighters and fans first, which is actually, I don't know if you're like a Jesse Cole fan or Savannah Bananas fan at all, but their motto is fans first. And now they're blowing up the MLB's whole model because it's like a Harlem Globetrotters baseball game, but it's all built around a fan first experience. And we were like, okay, well, we can be fan first, but what's more important is fighter first, because at the end of the day, this isn't baseball. This isn't hockey. This is fighting. Their well-being, their mental well-being, their promotion, their appreciation, that always has to come first. And everything we do to build is to make things better for fighters and by proxy, by fans. So that's really what's been driving us a lot lately. And yeah, man, I think it's been paying off pretty well.
So, my man, when do you actually start kind of doing your thing for the next card? Like this card coming up.
Right now.
All right.
Doing it.
All right. So
Yeah, we're not like, there's no off season in fighting.
right.
We might get an off day, but even then I have to have something planned to go out for when I'm just sitting on the hammock or something. Like, there's no time off. There's no days off. Kate Slayton's is in it to win it every single day. And we're also not just in it to win it for any other reason, but it's like, hey, every day we can give our fans something to enjoy. We can give them at least 7 or 8 seconds of, oh, that was awesome, or oh, that was sick, or oh, that made me feel good, or that made me feel emotional. We can give them that every single day, and I don't think that's asking much of anybody. And luckily, we have a library that goes back 13 years where we can pull so much because people have given us so much. So it's one of the hardest, easiest jobs in the world, because it's hard because it's every day, but it's easy because it's like, what else would I want to be doing every day?
Nick, I did play like a video of the Instagram and stuff. If there's something you want to go to specifically to check out, let us know, and I can jump on it from your Instagram. But I did play like a minute and a half of a bunch of fight footage. The highlight video you guys just put out, or while you were talking and stuff. But if there's something you want us to check out. There's one thing about the highlight video. I can't play it with the sound.
Yeah,
the sound. 'Cause yeah, exactly. They'll shut me down in a second. But
I would usually say we got to switch out that track, but it just went too hard. I'd be like, screw it, we'll risk the strike. I don't even care. And guess what? We didn't get strikes.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Like, I mean, is that happen sometime when you?
Yeah,
must.
Of course. It's much less frequent because now you can attach music through Spotify, and that's actually a really good thing to do as a share point, because now you have 3 points of shares. You have your hashtag, you have your media, and then you can add music to it, and then anything that's shared under that song. And say if it's a really popular song or a song that reaches the crowd that you're trying to reach, it's just another way to reach them. Yep. But for that one, it's embedded into the video. I assume that the AI would just pick it up and be like, hey, just retag it as the song that it is and give the rights to them. It's fine. But yeah, like we don't sweat that stuff too much anymore, just because, again, like Cage Titans has more internet freedom than any of these other promotions. We can make jokes. We can make mistakes. Yep. We can do things that other promotions would be like, why would they do that? It's just like because it's fun and
chug beers.
Nobody can tell us what to do. We're not held down by VC sponsors, or we don't have a big corporate overlord hanging over our head. For Cage Titans, we do what we like.
Exactly. Nick, do you see other promotions that mimic a little of what Cage Titans is doing?
100%, 100%. But you know what? I like the Eddie Van Halen method. Just, make stuff faster than they can steal it.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. And, also, like, again, like, I'm just keeping it with the 80s rocks references, but, it's just like the same thing. It's like, hey, Eddie Van Halen would play his guitar away from the crowd so people couldn't see how he was playing. He wouldn't let people come into there. Like, people ask me, hey, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? It's like, don't worry about it.
Figure it out.
Just doing it. Don't worry about that. But, yeah, I see it all the time, and there's, I don't mind it at all, because at the end of the day, it's all in the name of getting better stuff out there for these fighters. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to see everybody step up and put out the best stuff that they can, put on the best shows that they can, and keep raising not just, the bar, but raise the floor of MMA. The entry level for this sport and coming in should feel like, remember Here Comes the Boom in the first fight Kevin James had, and there was like the chicken coop and like all that garbage? Like, that should not be where MMA starts. Cage Titans is what it should feel like when MMA starts. And all these other regional promotions are also doing really good work right now. I have not a bad thing to say about any of them. I think they're all doing their level best to try to put out the best content that they can. The one thing is that we got that others don't is that we are Cage Titans. You can't recreate 13 years of history. You can't recreate the fan connections and the emotional connections we created. You can't recreate the consistency we've had over the last 2.5 years. Yeah, we're just really into what we do. And when you're into something, naturally, other people just want to get into it. So that's what we're all about. And as long as we keep doing our thing, as long as we keep enjoying it, and, the last show was great because we got to really, like, get back to, like, hey, man, we went through some really hard stuff with Arthur passing. We've had losses before. It rocked everybody really, really hard. And I think last card especially was super cathartic. Everybody's emotions were pulling out. But the biggest thing is, like, we were all just happy to be there with each other. And that's the biggest thing. That's like, we were coming into that card. It's like, how's it going to be? What's it going to be? Ended up being like, oh yeah, Cage Titans forever. Yeah, this forever.
Now, Nick, are you looking for new people to help out, or are you kind of solid with the team you have behind you, or do you look for new people to come in and help out around doing some media stuff?
Oh yeah, so actually on the last show I had big help from the Hurt Business podcast, Ross. And he helped out a lot on the show. We're looking to add more producers. We're looking to add more shooters. Like, basically, I said the last show, like, as far as, like, the content that I do, I can't do anymore. I need to clone myself. So I'll put it out there right now. I'm looking to clone myself, find another me for Cage Titans. If you think you can learn what I do, want to learn what I do, or want to like kind of shadow me, the position is open.
Excellent.
Good to know.
Excellent. Nick, we got a couple of more minutes because I want to just talk a couple of minutes with Tommy before Mike comes on. But
Yeah, the main event, Mike.
well, dude, we're gonna try to keep him to 5 minutes tonight.
Yeah, right.
Dude, let him go, man. Like he just spits gold, man. Don't.
That's why we like having him on.
Don't turn it off, man.
So, Nick, how long have you been with Cage Titans? 2.5 years. 2.5 years. This might be a difficult question, but out of those 2.5 years, what are you most proud of that you have helped Cage Titans with?
What am I most proud of?
Good question.
You know what? The biggest thing, and it's not one specific person or moment or anything. It's every time the fighters come up and say, I love fighting here. I appreciate the way you guys treat us. I love the way that, I'm presented. I love the stuff that you gave me afterwards. Win or loss, if, the fighters all come up and said that they had a good experience and they would do it again and that they enjoy it. Like every time that happens, it just fills my cup and I'm like ready to go again. And dude, I still think the best for Cage Titans is still yet to come. I still really think we're only just starting to hit our stride, and the talent pool is only getting better right now. It's like after that last show, Ozzy Brody, the more kids are going to see that and be like, yeah, I got to go out and do that next. How I got to follow that, because you think the bar can't go any higher, and then it just keeps going up.
Excellent, my man, and it will. September. What's the date? September. I do have the poster.
September
up.
23rd.
September 23rd. I have the poster, but I want to show it where Mike's here. The main event there, Joe Giannetti is back to defend that title. So that's going to be a huge night.
Against the French Canadian, Canadian badass. I like that guy.
Yeah,
I like this guy.
Yeah, we showed that video earlier with him coming in, getting booed, and all that other stuff.
I actually,
Canucks jersey.
I am probably most proud of that video clip more than anything else I've produced, just because it's like the first time I feel like I booked a pro wrestling angle.
Yeah, definitely heel style.
Well, dude, the thing is, the thing about a good heel is that the same reasons people hate him here is the reasons people love him back home.
Sure.
He woke up all of the Canadian MMA scene. Everybody's in on this fight. Everybody in New England should be getting behind Giannetti right now, and everybody in Canada should be getting behind their boy Mike.
Where'd he go?
Did we lose him?
We might have.
It just sounded like it dropped.
Where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
You still in?
You still there?
Man.
Yeah. You. The last thing you said is everyone should be getting behind this guy. Everyone should be getting
Everybody
behind.
should be getting behind their guys. Like the New England scene, get behind Giannetti. Canada, get behind Michael. I know he's French Canadian, so the Toronto and the English speaking people might have a little bit of a hard time with that. But dude, this guy's a gem. This guy's just a gem. He's a gangster for coming down to the hall and fighting a guy like Giannetti and going for that title. And I think Giannetti's gonna have the biggest chip on his shoulder and. Angry chip on his shoulder. Giannetti usually turns in some pretty fucking stellar performances, so I'm excited. And then we also got Ross Hilton and Joshua Marsh for the heavyweight strap, and Ross is actually going viral on TikTok right now, and people have been calling him, I can think of a couple, Jamaican Tyson Fury.
Oh jeez.
What is it, they keep calling him like Goro.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
From Mortal Kombat.
Fucking A.
I could see that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the thing is, and what I love about Ross especially is he carries himself so cool, man. Like, look at the way he walked into that cage, man. Really walking, chin held high, shoulders back, being like, let's go. And I'm like, man, what a vibe. What a vibe this guy is.
Excellent, my man. Well, Cage Titans heavyweight champion, man.
That's cool.
Definitely a force and a massive a man to promote that belt for you guys. So, man, congratulations, bro, on everything the past 2.5 years and the next 20.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
Thank you, guys. And keep up the great work. I'm always listening, always watching. And, yeah, man, it's always love when we see each other.
Yeah, Nick, most importantly, thank you so much for, sharing the content and getting us out there and helping New England MMA grow along with you guys in the last, couple of years, man. It's a pleasure going to the show and being treated so well, and we love it. And we'll be there on September 23rd, man, as always.
Let's rock, man. Let's try not to both relapse that night.
All right, my man. Nick, anytime, man, you want to call in as we get closer to the show, you're always welcome to come down. I know it's a trek, but... if you got a couple of guys who want to come on the show with you, you're always welcome.
Oh, we'll bring the crew through.
All right, my man. You have a good night, and I got to get the boss going now.
All right, I'll see you, bud.
Later, Nick.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, good dude.
Yeah, he's a really good. He's very well spoken too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's smart. You can tell.
Fucking A. All right, so that's cool. I got some guy on here on the YouTube channel.
In chat.
He's throwing some shade right now.
What's he saying?
His handle is Just a Guy. So if anyone wants to go on YouTube and talk to Just a Guy, he goes, "Gee, a show on Cage Titans again. Change the Room podcast to the Cage Titans podcast."
Yeah, if they want to pay us.
You know what, buddy? I'll just say one thing. My podcast is open every week for anyone who wants to come on, and not many people open their fucking mouths to come on. So you want to come on, or you have some suggestions, get your boys to call me up on Messenger, and they're always welcome. Until then, Cage Titans is welcome every fucking week if they want to come on.
And Cage Titans is good to us. They put our shit out there. They're the ones who share our shit.
With that said, Mr. Just a Guy. He's just a guy.
Just a guy.
Who likes guys.
So
let me see if Mike Polvere from Cage Titans is ready. Just a guy. Andrew Valdine is laughing. Andrew, find out who that fuckface is.
It's probably Andrew's other
he's
handle.
Just a douchebag. He's probably from fucking CES or something. Speaking of CES, they blocked me on Facebook.
Oh, so it's
you know why?
Why?
Because they spelt Gary Boletto's fucking name wrong on the poster, and Chris Motino's name
all the names wrong
on the poster. Gary Boletto is their poster guy.
Yeah.
That's their guy. His dad was their guy.
Oh, he won the
They
strap.
spelt his name wrong on the main event fucking poster, and they didn't change it. And you know what I did? I said, CES. All I did was put on Facebook, CES needs a spelling lesson. I got blocked.
They blocked you.
Like, they don't look at it. They watch my shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was quick.
They don't share any of it, but they watch it. That's for sure.
That's
So
funny.
I got blocked on Facebook by CES.
And that's pretty stupid that they spell the names wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure people told him, but it's too late to change it now. We already paid the gay guys $20 for fucking hour. Or
$20.
whatever. All right, let me get Mike Polvere now before I go on a fucking tangent. Mike Polvere, we're keeping him to 20 minutes. What time is it? It's 8:42.
Yep.
That'll get us right to fucking 9:05. I can get the karaoke. Said it right.
You're going there tonight?
Look, Aaron Hughes is laughing. Probably Zachary Searle. You can't, like, I love when that, like, I'm open to anyone that can come out. Unless you're fucking some zombie coming out of the woodwork. You're not getting on my
not
show.
many of that, you know.
But,
you're not turning down a lot of people, are you?
No.
No, yeah, you're not down.
No.
You'd let anyone come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking people reach out to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Mike Polvere, he's not answering. So let
maybe
me go to Cage Titans Instagram while we're here. So
good training tonight. Fucking beating the shit out of each other. Headlocks position. Starting in a headlock. That's always fun.
Last time you were here, you were in like what? What'd you start in? Headlock?
Headlock, yeah.
You did that last time.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been doing that.
Oh, that's the sucky. That's
King of the headlock. It's tough.
That's a
Here, just take my neck and hold it.
So this is the video that Nick was talking about with Roz going viral. I mean, he's just a.
He looks like a fighter, man.
Specimen of
Yeah.
a man.
He looks like
Wow.
he should be like in the fucking gladiator days or something.
What else we got here?
He's committed to that hairstyle.
This is Caged In Podcast. That was another thing I wanted to talk to Nick about, because there's all these new podcasts coming up that are like really, really good.
Yeah.
They break down the fights.
Local?
What's that?
Local fights and stuff?
Yeah, Cage Titans. They're really heavy on Cage Titans and helping them out. but that has a lot to do with Nick. Nick making connections
Sure.
behind the scenes. I mean, that just helps Cage Titans, their name, get out there more. The more people that want to, cover them. Jay Perrin, main event. He's back. Had his fight, and he's going to take a little time off, and then I think he might be coming back to challenge Joe Pennefield for that.
That'd be cool.
That title,
party.
unless it's Johnny Cupcakes. But
Wasn't someone saying that?
Saying what?
That it's going to be Cupcakes versus Penfield?
Yeah, Mike. Mike, I think was saying it.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. Mike is ready.
Cool.
What's up, boss?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What's
I'm
up?
doing excellent, my man. Hey, I don't know if you were listening or you playing Family Man, but Nick Hailer was
Right.
just on here, and man, he's a well-spoken young man, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I will admit, I actually was doing bedtime and my phone died, and then I just turned it on at like 2 minutes ago, and I was like, oh shit, perfect timing. I'm supposed to be on the podcast. I just caught you the tail end when you guys were talking about other podcasts that have been kind of busting on the scene as of late,
Yep.
covering Cage Titans. I heard that you got blocked for CES for calling them out by their spelling errors. I thought that was a little funny.
Ridiculous.
I will admit, I'm not much of a shade thrower, but that was, I'm with you, my man. That's kind of funny because, if you spell it wrong on one thing, you think somebody might catch it, and then you wouldn't spell it wrong on the next thing, and it was like back-to-back things. It's like, wow, okay. But I mean, it's all in good fun.
It is, Mike. I mean, I can't help myself. I'm that kind of guy. I could have made a meme, but I just put it out there. You know what I mean? I was just like, let me just put, because I'm not like you. Everyone saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so why just change it? And maybe it's too late to change. You know how it is when you pay for an ad on your business page. You can't change the picture. You have to take it down and redo it again. So, I mean, but
They should
like
have
you
paid the
said,
money.
the second time around, you might want to catch it.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Actually, Nick's the king of that. Nick is an infamous misspeller of things, and he does it all the time. And I'll hit him up like, "Yo, dude, you spelled it wrong," and he's like, "It already has 20 comments and 100 likes." He's like, "I'm not taking it down." And Nick's actually a believer that the spelling mistakes bring more attention. Not that Nick, I think this is Nick's spin on it to
That's his
kind of
take.
cover his ass when he spells stuff wrong. But he says that it engages more because people notice the spelling mistakes and they pay more attention to it, and they comment more about the spelling mistakes. So he says he doesn't do it on purpose. I think that's just a way of covering his ass.
Excellent.
Yeah,
my
I'm not
man.
buying that
well,
story.
I definitely don't do it on purpose. I just can't spell. And my fingers, Mike, my problem is I get so excited and my fingers go too fast. And sometimes I like, spell check sucks. And then I like fucking double up a letter. And then I'm like, and then it eats me up all day. I'm like, what
My
the
worst
fuck?
is I got to give a shout out to Bill Mahoney from South Shore Sport Fighting. If you ever text message or go back and forth with him, like he says right out the gate, he goes, "Listen, I'm rapid firing this essay of a text message to you. I'm not going back and punctuating
Nope.
it.
I'm letting
spelling
that way.
checking it." He's like, "You got to figure it out. You're on your own." And if somebody watching has gotten text messages from Bill Mahoney, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Excellent, my man. Well, Mike, bro, we're giving you 15 minutes.
Well, just going back.
That's probably all you have worth phone power, maybe.
I got my phone up to 51%.
Okay,
So I'm good, but I'm cool with 15 minutes because we always say we're going to keep it short and we never do. So let's do a hard 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, we're done.
All right, my man. Well, Mike, man, you had a great card, a couple weeks ago. Cage Titans 60. You had Jay Perrin. You had Don Shanis come back. You had a huge amateur title fight, that potential fight of the year. And nobody
Sword.
lost in that fight. Definitely nobody lost in that fight. Man, how happy are you with that card? It was a little more laid back than usual. A lot of stuff going on that weekend, summertime vacations, but you still put it together, and it was a great card, man. Talk about it and how happy you were with the product.
Yeah, man. I think this was like you hear about like sleeper fights on a card. This is kind of a sleeper fight card. I'll be quite honest, like, coming back from the doubleheader in March and then the huge, heavyweight title fight and some of those big fights on the May card, the party and all those things. The Peter Barrett fight back in March. Like the last few cards have been pretty heavy, with a lot of big names, and this card might have slid under the radar. There was a lot of matchups where guys were fighting people with upside down records. So I think that the general public would look at this card and be like, this is kind of a one-sided card. But we were preaching about it. It's like you don't fight on paper. Like the people's records in MMA are it's not indicative who they are as fighters. And I think that we showed on this card. If you watch this card and you saw somebody like Pat Casey, who's 10-5, fighting a 3-5 guy in Sam Watford, you're like, come on, man, I'm not going to pay to go see this card. And we were telling people, Watford went to a decision with Cameron Lachinoff, like a teammate of Pat Casey. Like this is a fight to watch. And sure as shit, Sam Watford comes in, pulls that win. You look at the Montreal James fight, who's 4-9, and he's fighting 6-3 Marty Navis, and people are probably like, "Oh, this is a builder up for Marty." And I was talking about it in the build up, like Montreal's fought some tough guys in his career, and he's always the road warrior. And don't sleep on him. And sure as shit, he gets the finish. And then you look at the main event and the co-main event, both decision fights. But you had two guys coming out of the UFC. One fighting Lionel Young, who's 11-19, and you had Wastig 9-13 fighting Don Shanis. You're probably thinking, all right, these are going to be a walkover fight, and both were highly competitive. Both had their shining moments in the fights, and they were great fights. So I think this card was a pleasant surprise for those fans who know enough to kind of look a little deeper.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
my boy Travis had his amateur debut, the sick rear naked choke. Put on a clinic for that. Everyone was really proud of him for that. Yep, sweeps, exactly.
Yeah. I think it was definitely one of those.
Yeah, you had a lot of younger guys in there as far as like in their career MMA, some amateur debuts like Travis, and those guys put on a great show. Where'd Mike go?
I'm right here.
All right. I lost your video.
Oh, sorry, I'm here.
All right. What are you doing? Picking your nose or something?
Oh, I don't know. All of a sudden, my phone was like texting, and I clicked
all of a sudden
on one
you're
and
small.
swiped it away.
There you are.
But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. A lot of up and coming guys coming up. Would you have? Did you have what? Did you have a grappling match? Yeah, you had George against
Jeff Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Jeff Joy versus Shane Doherty open the match, open the fight card with the grappling match. And, that's just Shane Doherty trying to get back into the mix. He was an undefeated amateur champion for us who's been away for a long time, healing some injuries. And this was just kind of dip his toe back in the water of competing. And he took on a undefeated stud in Jeff Joy, who was not fighting on this card, but wanted to still compete. So he jumped in there. Then we had the Muay Thai match. That was the very next match. And then we had a slew of amateur fights before we went to the pros. The card really had a little everything. It really did. Jaylen Brown was a special guest from the Boston Celtics. Just signed 2 days after he was spotted at Cage Titans. He signed the largest contract in NBA history.
Supermax.
$304 million over 5 years. That was a cool, if you're a Celtics guy, but it's also kind of a cool thing for us at Cage Titans, from a marketing and a credibility standpoint. We had the Boston Bruins at an event a few shows ago.
So sick.
Here, the highest paid NBA player in the history, at a Cage Titans event. It definitely gives me like a little, smirk and smile at the end of the night. Like, oh, wow, okay. we are doing something. Like, we're doing something all right here. We're putting the wheels in the right motion.
Yeah, and another cool thing about going to, Cage Titans and other local, local promotions, you have these fighters coming back from the UFC, on the regional level, trying to get back to the bigger shows. But people don't remember that when they were in the UFC, they were training with these UFC fighters, and some of these UFC fighters are still their training partners, are in their corners in the regional level. We had Chris Curtis as Jay Perrin's corner man. Now, I was with Jeff Clark. He's, with us now. He does a lot of articles. But he doesn't know a lot of the fighters, or, he hasn't met them. He knows them, but he hasn't met them personally. He met a few more on Saturday night of Cage Titan 60. But Chris Curtis walked by, and I grabbed Chris Curtis. I was like immediate, because I know Chris Curtis when he was the, a champion here, and just a friend on Facebook. And when I seen him, Chris Curtis is in the building. Yep. And I went, Chris, who you here with? And he goes, I'm here with Mr. Perrin. And then Jeff Clark was all over him. And then everyone jumped on him because I stopped him. It's kind of hard to notice him, and he's just walking through. But when you grab somebody and you're talking to him, and other people kind of, you stop him for a minute, and other people, oh my God, that's Chris Curtis. That was a nice treat to have that guy walking through the crowd and in the corner at a Cage Titans fight.
It's so funny, like, to see everybody get excited. And I see some people get super excited and fanboy because he's a new face. But, like, it's also a funny thing at Cage Titans because, like, we have UFC fighters cornering every show. Like, Joe Lozon is a staple, and guys like that, and so it is funny. But he's a new face that people have not seen in a while here locally. Also, fun fact: he competed at Dana White's Contender Series against Sean Lally, a Cage Titans legend in his own right, who, wink, wink, might be making a return coming up. He was in the crowd that night, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, it was definitely cool. I will say, I apologize if Chris Curtis ever watches this. He was a late ad, like a late budget thing. Like, Jay Perrin's a local guy now, so we're not even talking about flying corners in. We're not talking about hotels. So Chris Curtis was a super gentleman, but it was like last minute. Jay asked me, and I'm like, dude, I really didn't budget for this, but let's see what we can do. And then, so we got him here. He had to fly on Spirit. So I do apologize to Chris Curtis. That's something I tried. I never really do to our fighters, is bring him in on Spirit, especially a 6-hour flight from Vegas. But, sometimes shit happens. And, Jay and I were already in the zone, and it was like a last minute ad. And it was like, all right, cool. Listen, man, I'll do it for you. But, like, here's the deal. And we got him here. It was cool. And a lot of people reacted warmly to him. And
it was a good look.
I think that the UFC fighters, I guess I'll take this stance, is that, like, when UFC fighters come from other parts of the country, Eric Anders is another guy who came up with SBG. I think they're impressed with what we're doing up here in New England, and they're impressed with the venue, the atmosphere, and everything we're doing. So it's nice to kind of get the nod from those guys, like, hey, you guys are doing something well, because clearly they've competed on their way up through regional scenes through other parts of the country. So they see what regional promotions are like, and then they come to Cage Titans and they kind of give us the nod, like, hey, man, you're doing something really special here. So it makes me feel happy.
Excellent, my man. Come. Well, Cage Titan 60, I had a ball there. It was me and Jeff running solo that night. Travis and Lars had family things going on, but it was nice. My second card in a row that I've gone to, and I will continue to be going to Cage Titans cards and, enjoying the fights and the people there. Dude, Mike, second time I was there, and the guys from the page bust my balls, because I don't do much when I'm there, maybe a couple interviews, but I'm not writing articles, doing play-by-play. I'm kind of just smiling, drinking a beer. But they're like, I'm the celebrity guest, they say. They just shop me in front of the desk, and I deflect the attention, maybe a punch or a kick here and there. I'm kind of like, they said, you're the face that gets punched before they get to us. So that's kind of my role right now at Cage Titans as media.
Well, listen, man, I always enjoy it. Definitely gives it a different feel when you're there. You definitely become a integrated part of the MMA community here in New England. And it's great that you do get to enjoy yourself at those fights because, though like you said, you might not be writing articles when you're at the fights. Like these weeks, like we're 8 weeks out from our next show, and I know that for the next 8 weeks, every Wednesday, you're probably going to be talking something about Cage Titans and putting the work in these 8 weeks, so that you kind of get to see some of the hard work pay off on fight night when you can kind of just sit back, relax, and kind of take it all in.
Excellent.
Well, someone just gave us shit online, and we gave them shit back.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard before you came on, but somebody said something on the YouTube channel. What'd they say?
What happened?
They
I missed it.
Just a guy. He goes, gee, a show on Cage Titans again. Change the Room podcast to the Cage Titans podcast, he said.
I'm down.
Listen, man, I say this all the time, like, and I don't know how I'll spin it towards your podcast, but like, we set the stage, and then what our fighters and the rest of the community do with it is on them. Make the moment yourself. Like, if we're giving you good storylines and we're giving you personalities and we're encouraging our fighters to talk to you and get on podcasts and do things like that, it's like, well, I mean, what else are you going to talk about right now? Like, realistically, I mean, I don't say this arrogantly, but we're doing our best to kind of keep the MMA boats the tides up here in New England for MMA. I took it as a personal challenge when COVID shut us down 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I am going to do as many shows with as many fighters to kind of make up for lost time. And we've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years. And we're just kind of keeping that bar at that level. So, like, we're giving you guys stuff to talk about. And we're really getting into our flow because, yes, we could just sit here and talk about the last Cage Titans, which was Cage Titans 60. But now we also are already giving you new stuff to talk about with Joe Giannetti and Michael Dufort, which I told you before the show. We had a big announcement. That guy's ranked number 9 in the world or the country, who's as a lightweight not signed to the UFC. And talk about taking the stage in the moment and making it his own. The kid comes out, brings a paper bag in a 3-piece suit, throws on the Canadians jersey. He's playing it up to the crowd.
That's some
Boom,
good shit.
there you go. We already have something to talk about next week on the podcast if we wanted to. You got Ross Hilton, who's taking on Josh Marsh, who Josh Marsh has already beaten Ross Hilton, and there's already a storyline built in there. So we're really hitting our flow on keeping things in the momentum flowing and in really trying to, like, build the brand out that there's always something moving with it. I think in years past, I would do one show, and then once the show was over, it's like, all right, we're done. Let's take 2 weeks off, and then, like, start the business back up again of trying to get storylines, trying to get fighters, and then we'd do a show, and everything would stop and shut down. Now it's like Cage Titans is kind of always going. I do take a few days off, but, like, we're already I'm actually already matching for November right now. Mm-hmm. I can tell you right now, I already have 2 matchups circled for November, and we haven't even got to September yet. So I think that's the difference. And the guy who says make it a Cage Titans podcast, like, listen, let's talk about CES. They had an event this weekend. Richie Santiago, longtime Cage Titans commentator, made his retirement.
Yep.
And, all the hats off to him. This kid was an 0-4 amateur at Cage Titans, went on to win an amateur title, then went through his pro career through CES, all the way up to Dana White's Contender Series. He had his last fight this past weekend. Unfortunately, lost. He retired. But this is a testament to any fighter out there who might be having a difficult time, might have had a few losses. This kid was 0-4 to start his career and fought in front of Dana White, had a great pro career. So hats off to Richie. And, they had some other great competitors. Gary Boletto won his title in his hometown, Chris Mutino. So that, listen, I'll give this some plugs. It's the Cage Titans guy getting out there to plug the other promotions.
That's right.
But there you go. It's not just a Cage Titans of Room podcast tonight.
No, and we open up our lines to everyone, and no one wants to show up because they're scared. So,
well, Mike, I don't know I know you see a lot. There's so much stuff on social media, but I always put at least once a week every other week I put on our Instagram stories, hey, any fighters out there that want to get an interview who have an upcoming fight coming up, I'm here, message me. Dude, I see how many people check out. I mean, there's like 300 people that see our stories, maybe more sometimes.
Yeah.
And 60 to 70% of them are fighters. So the door is always open for them to call or be on the show. I love doing it, and I love it. It's what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You did a podcast last week with Andy Dormy, who made his amateur debut on CES.
Yeah.
So you know what? The haters are gonna hate. I'll tell you this. I, just like you, I feel your pain. When I do Table Titans on Mondays, we have fighters on all the time, or we do the same thing. And people will say, oh, here's another Valdina post, or, oh, here's another, XYZ guy. And it's like, listen, man, this is open invite. If the people that you see on here, they're on here because they keep coming back and asking us to be on here. Mm-hmm. If you want to be on, just pick up the Instagram DMs and message us. Like, I'm not going to beg. It's an open invite. So I do feel your pain. We've both been podcasting for a long time. And so we have a lot of similarities in our pains. Like, I wish every fighter would want to come on. And unfortunately, some don't. And so you get the same, like, repeat customers over and over again. But it's like, okay, well, if you are sick of seeing Andrew Valdina's face on a Cage Titans podcast or The Room,
who could ever?
It's like, then go book yourself on one. Messages, hey man, I see Valdina all the time. Do you think I can get on? Yep, no problem. And it's done. So there's our minute soapbox between the two of us, Steve. If you don't like the people that you continually see on our podcasts, then pick up the phone, quote unquote, and message us and just say, yo, I want to be on. And,
exactly.
And it can be anything. It's simple.
Hey, last thing on that, Mike. Billy Goff reached out to me a couple of days ago. Hey, when you coming down to the gym? I got a fight this month. When you coming down to Dexter's to get an interview with me? I'm going down Monday night. I'm going to Dexter's Monday, and I'm getting an interview with Billy and filming some of his team. I mean, it's that easy. I'm not going to run to everyone's gym, or, you know what I mean? I have so much time. It's Billy Goff, huge fight. But that's a UFC. That's a local kid that is reaching out to me. You know what I mean? To get an interview. So, I mean, why, some of you younger guys do the same. But one last thing on that, Mike, also, it's who shows you the respect back, too. Like, Cage Titans shows me an immense amount of respect, sharing my stuff. The shows, total respect there. There's other promotions that, treat me similar. They're not as big, but they give me the respect and share stuff. 50% of the other promotions, man, don't give me the time of the day. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to focus on them when you're doing interviews with fighters for that show, and they're not helping the fighters at all, not sharing that stuff. I mean, not every one of my interviews sucks. A lot of them do. But some of them are passable for, some of these promotions to support these fighters, because sometimes I'm the only one doing an interview for this card or these promotions. So, you know what I mean? It goes both ways here.
Yeah, you bring up some great points. One, on the Billy Goff thing. Billy Goff, and when he wasn't in the UFC, you were incredibly good to him. He did podcasts. You always did podcasts with him, and he always was a guest on your show. Those Dexter's guys were amazing to you. So now that he's in the UFC, of course he's showing that respect back, and you were with him when he was, I don't want to say a nobody, but when he was just a local guy. So, of course, he's going to remember that, and you go on the way up with him. Now he's in the UFC. You're going to be one of the guys that are exclusively interviewing him. On the second part, it's just business if people don't understand this. If Steve's doing a podcast, you're doing a podcast, and you do it with the fighter, your goal is that fighter is going to share it, the promotion he's on is going to share it, and you feel that there's some you're getting some traction for the work you did. You love this and you're going to do it anyways, but there's also some sort of traction and pat back when you interview somebody knowing that they're going to share it and the promotion is going to share it. So your work gets more views and gets more legs, and it lives on out there. If hey, I can do an interview with, say, a Cage Titans guy, and Mike's going to share it, and Nick's going to share it, and it's going to get on the pages. Plus, the fighter is going to share it because they kind of instill that in their fighters, and you might get 2,000 views. But promotion XYZ, who never shares your stuff, and they don't really push their fighters like that, you're only going to get 300 views. All right, you got an hour to do a podcast this Wednesday. What person are you going to interview? What fighters are you going to? What pool of fighters are you going to go to? The promotion that pushes that stuff and instills that in their fighters as part of the overreaching of, yes, you're an MMA fighter, but you're an entertainer. You got to talk. You got to get on the mic. You got to in front of the camera. And we pitch that to all of our fighters and make sure they're aware of that. Or the promotion that probably won't ever share it, and their fighters aren't even really pushing it. It's a no-brainer.
Exactly. Always have haters out there, Mike.
Of course.
But I don't care anymore.
Feed me haters. I eat that shit.
I don't care unless they say something when I'm live, and I gotta like call them out.
And Andrew Valdina is feeling away because we were using his name and saying we'd love to.
He's thinking he's shut off of Table Titans. Now. He's like, man.
No, he's the man. We're gonna ramp up the Andrew Valdina posts.
No, I just use him as an example.
Oh, of course.
Because he's a great example
of an
up-and-coming fighter who is under the Cage Titans, banner that, like, people have said to me. They're like, oh, man, you when are we going to get the Valdina treatment? And, I'll pump him up a little bit. And it's like, dude, this mother effer gets it.
Yeah, maybe when you beat the shit out of people like he does.
We didn't tell him to pull out the imaginary sword and pretend he was slaying his opponent. He did that. We didn't tell him to jump up on the cage and get that great photo of his family and fans screaming in the background. He just did it. We don't tell him to post all of his training clips. He just does it. Like, he's just a good example of a guy that's out there right now that, is when people say, oh, well, he gets posted about a lot. It's like, well, Connor Matthews is another guy. That mother effer posts all the damn time. Peter Barrett was another one that just – Joe Giannetti, these guys just post all the time. Mm-hmm. Then you guys got guys like Marty Navis, you might get one post a month from. And it's like, yo, man, we love you. Or Zach DiSabatino, who doesn't post at all. Yeah. It's like, yo, we love you guys. And when people say, why don't we see stuff from them? It's like, they don't even post about themselves.
Yeah.
We can't get stuff to post if you don't post stuff. If you post a video of you rolling at the gym on Tuesday afternoon, guess what? Now we see it. We have access to it. And we will post it. If you're not doing that, there's no way for us to post it. There's no way for us to get it. We're not in every single gym every day of the week for all these fighters. So, soapbox done, Valdina. You're doing a great job if you're watching.
Awesome.
And I said it about him last fight. He wasn't fighting this past card, which is the first time in a long time. He immediately reached out and was like, I know I'm not fighting on this card. If there's any spots in the commentary booth, I want to keep my name out there. I want to keep my name active. I want to keep in front of the mic. And boom, he did an amazing job commentary. Just like you said earlier, you want to be on the Rooms podcast? Reach out to Steve. Yep. You want to do something with Cage Titans? Reach out to us. We're not that difficult to work with or get in touch with.
Excellent.
Or maybe I'm a little difficult.
Well, you got a heavy workload there, but you do get back. I know you do. Well, Mike, we are 13 minutes beyond the threshold here, though. Last thing, Mike, I mean, you have this card coming up September 23rd. You mentioned Joe Giannetti. You mentioned Raz Hilton. You mentioned, you have fights scheduled for November. As far as this card coming in September, let me get the
23rd.
September 23rd. What's your expectations of this? I mean, Joe Giannetti, always a seller on the card. This fight could be the one. We always say that to get him to the UFC, to get over that hurdle. But what are you thinking about this card and the magnitude compared to past cards?
I think that this is going to be a great card. I mean, it's the very early stages. We have the Ross Hilton fight. We have the Giannetti fight. I know Miguel Savesin will be making his pro debut on this card. Potentially, we'll have a Sean Lally sighting. Yeah. And then some names from the past card. Sam Watford wants back on. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other names. Zach DiSabatino actually will be back on this card. I kind of took last week off. Usually the week after the show, I try to take off and kind of refocus on my family and my wife and my kids. I think that's important for all people to do in our fight world. Cage Titans fighters, like after the fight, take a few days to yourself, reground yourself. So I always do that. Here we are Wednesday. I've already started collecting names from gyms. So I'll start matching probably end of this week, beginning of next week. So maybe I'll pop back on in a few weeks. I'll break some fights, spill some beans for you. And but yeah, this card will be the end of the summer banger, man. It's this card. I said it before the show. I think the fight, this Joe Giannetti fight versus Michael Dufort, is going to be a big fight. It's going to get some national headlines, I believe. And I think that when I spoke to Giannetti about this fight, it was like, listen, man, this is the fight you got to take. And I know this guy's super tough, and I know this guy is next level potential, but this is the type of fight you got to go out there. You got to fight, and you got to win if you think you're going to get to the next level. If you beat this guy and you don't get signed to the UFC,
shame on them. Shame on them at that point.
Yeah, there's really nothing else you can do. There really isn't. You know what I mean? It's like this is that type of fight. And I think the same thing with Dufort at 10-4, 11-4, ranked 9th in the country. Has a lot of hype behind him, a lot of name recognition. He took out Luis Pena in his last fight in Ultimate Fighter, same season as Joe, actually. I think if this guy can put a second feather in his cap like that, back-to-back Ultimate Fighter alumni guys, UFC guys, he's no doubt he'll be not only taking the Cage Titans belt back to Canada, but he'll be taking that Cage Titans belt back to Canada for a brief stop before he goes on to the UFC, which would be immediately after. I know he has the right management team behind him as well. He's represented by Danny Ruby, so he's very well connected to the UFC. So I know this guy's on the UFC's radar already. So I just think this fight, there's no doubt in my mind the winner of this fight will get some sort of UFC offer after it. And I think the fight of that magnitude happening at Cage Titans, there's a lot of times when we said, oh, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 more wins and this guy, might get signed. This is the fight that it's like the winner of this has to go to the UFC. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's nothing else for either one of them to prove no matter who wins. And I think that's nice to kind of get that type of high-level fight under our banner and under our promotion.
Well, my man, last thing I'm going to leave off on here. You're still matching fights, I expect, for this card coming up with amateurs and, pros. Well, we are adjusting our rankings right now. So our rankings are coming out next week as far as the summer rankings up until, the CES card. So that's going to help, maybe not you, as far as matching, but it's going to get the chatter going between fighters and who should be matched up maybe after this card or coming up to this card or other promotions, man. When rankings come out, does that help a promotion at all? If they come out early enough that, or do you already kind of know what you're looking for? And Mike, you're a smart guy. You know guys' records and you know where they should be in the lineup. And but does that help at all to look at it on paper? Or is it more for the fighters to rant and rave and have some chatter online for?
I love to promote your site and talk about how much I pay attention to the rankings.
Shit for us.
I'm sorry. I do look at them, but they don't mean that much to me.
All right.
Honesty.
I think the fighters love it. They love to see their names out there. They love to see their rankings. They love to kind of see where they are in the pecking order in New England. Some people put chips on their shoulders. Some people, they don't give 2 shits about the rankings, and so I love to see it, and it's fun banter, and it's kind of fun to go through it. But, there's not really ever a point in time where I look at your rankings and go, oh, that guy's ranked number 1. I better get him at Cage Titans. Listen, my net is open to every fighter, whether you're ranked 1 or you're ranked 20 or you're not ranked at all. Like, if you want to fight for us, you want to fight for us. The matchmaking comes from me. If I think it's a good and marketable fight, I'll make the fight. Like if I looked at the rankings when I match up Lionel Young and Jay Perrin, people probably laugh at me. But I'm like, listen, that's a marketable fight to me. I don't care what any rankings say. I know the type of fighter Lionel is, and I know the type of fighter Jay is. I don't care what their records are, what their rankings are. When we talk about fights, we talk about the attributes of the fighters and why you want to see this, and as opposed to where they're in the rankings or what their records are. It's just it's an approach I take. So for me, it doesn't help, but I promise you, there's probably a lot of other promotions out there that love the bells and the whistles and say, I got the number one ranked guy, or I got this guy. For us, it doesn't help necessarily, but I think the fighters love it. And I will say I am an avid reader of your rankings, and I do enjoy looking at them.
Excellent, man. Well, just a disclaimer here. 5 of us put these rankings together, and we did disagree on some things, but, the majority rules. So do not hate us
I was going to say, Polvere said
when they come out.
He just said he doesn't care about your rankings
I'm
anyway.
not talking about him. I'm talking about fighters. You know how it is. I mean, it's all I'm the face of the page. Domenico, he did it. No, I'm going to say there's some of you that may not be where you want to be, but I might have wanted you to be where you think you should be. That's all I'm saying.
That's deep.
Well, I will tell you this. Back in the day, as you know, when you guys first started rankings, I was on one of the email groups that was part of the voting for your rankings. So yeah, I think it's a fun thing, and it's fun to debate. Rankings are an interesting thing, though. Like, look at right now, Sean Strickland, who's ranked number 9, might be fighting for the title against Israel Adesanya.
Yep.
And it's like, how's the 9 guy fighting the champ?
Yep.
It's a fun thing when nothing else is to talk about. But then it's just like, then at a certain point, it's like, cool, we have matchups now to talk about, so that the rankings games. But fighters, if you need it as motivation, dude, use the motivation. You want to have a pecking list and say everybody above me, and come to me and say, oh, Mike, fighter 2, 3, and 4 above me, I want those guys. I'll work that into the story by all means. So yeah, whatever. I can't wait. When are they coming out, actually? Let's give it a plug.
Well, we did the pros yesterday. It took us 3 hours together on our group chat. We're still tweaking it a little bit because there's always something we miss. So the pros are basically done. We're going to do the amateurs over the weekend. And I would say, Lars got to play with the posters, get them. I would say by the end of next week, they'll probably be out.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing those. And, I appreciate your time tonight, guys. Sorry, I'm always long-winded and I always stay overtime. But,
Never.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you guys do. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. It's always nice having you at the shows. And, September 23rd, man. Let's rock it out and have another good one.
Excellent, Tommy. I'll be taking him to that show.
Sure,
he's gonna be my wingman
Plus
that
one.
night. So
are we gonna break his cherry?
We are we're gonna pop his cherry.
I've been to Cage Titans plenty of times before, but not with you.
Media,
yeah,
though.
right.
You're gonna.
Nope.
It's different.
You haven't been as media, and you haven't been as Steve Domenico's plus one.
Hey, wine and dine me. I'm a cheap date.
He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, so I can use him.
Yeah, I'm a cheap date, man. Wine and dine me,
Hey, Mike, anything you want to leave off with as far as the card coming up or anything before I let you go?
Nah, man. As always, I say this all the time. Follow us on our social media. We try to keep it constantly flooded. So Cage Titans across the board: Twitter, Threads now, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Make sure you follow us YouTube as well. Stay up to date. That's the way of the world now. Hit us up on all our social media. And we do a good job keeping you updated. We'll make sure you keep you updated, and we'll see you at the fights, or we'll see you on the room in the upcoming weeks.
That's right.
Last question, Mike. Table Titans. Is that scheduled to come back in the next couple of weeks or so? Or?
Yeah, so we'll be back this upcoming Monday. So for the summer, admittedly, I took some time off this summer because, man, I'm always long-winded, so I'm going to keep it quick. When we were shut down for COVID, I did a podcast about how important it was to really inject life when we could start doing shows, because there were so many fighters that their careers were on hold and standby. Guys like Mitch Raposo, Don Shanis, there were so many guys that all of a sudden COVID just like they were getting so like they couldn't fight. They were like a couple fights away from the UFC, but then they couldn't fight because there was no fights, and people really couldn't progress their career. So I think for the last 2+ years, I was go, go, go. We were doing double header shows, add-in shows. This summer, I it was finally like the first time after that May event, after we did the doubleheader in March, which wasn't not scheduled, and we just did it on a whim. I said, you know what, I got to take a quick step back this summer. So we did take Table Titans off the table for the summer, but we will be back next Monday, and we're going to be full bore back every Monday, for the rest of this upcoming card, and we'll be back to our normal Mondays time slots, 8 o'clock every Monday.
Excellent, my man. Well, I'll definitely come sit in on one of those Mondays. September, I stopped playing cards on my High-Low Jack League on Monday. So, like yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, right.
So the first week of September. So maybe last week of August I can come on because you'll have a lot of matchups and shit like that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get you that last week before you play cards. So we'll have you play. We'll have you both down, have you sign the wall, do all that stuff. So
fuck yeah,
there you
Excellent.
go.
All right, Mike, I'm gonna let you go, man. But a pleasure, bro. It's always great talking to you. It's a great conversation, and I thoroughly enjoy talking local MMA and Cage Titans with you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let me give you a cheap plug. Kin Moy and myself have started a new show. We've been doing it for the last few months. We do TikTok Tuesday. So if you're ever on TikTok, me and Kin Moy go live every Tuesday at 12. It's the 12 at 12. And much like your show, we say it's 12 minutes at 12 o'clock every Tuesday. It ends up being like an hour and 12 minutes. Kin Moy is so intelligent on so many aspects of the MMA world and in the inner workings and in his breakdowns. And him and I have just great conversation every Tuesday on TikTok Live. So tune in over there and check us out.
Excellent, my man. Mike, definitely a pleasure, bro. Thank you for the time, man. And we'll be watching Cage Titans, seeing, all the developing stories and matchups coming up in the future.
All right, my man. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, guys. See you later.
Yeah, bro.
Later.
Fucking awesome.
Always good.
Oh, my God. Always fucking good. So just to plug our rankings, they will be out, I would imagine, the end of next week. And like I said, the pros are basically done, 95% done. We have to tweak a little things here and there. But we will be working on the amateurs over the weekend. And they should be out by the end of next week, over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And the posters will be coming out.
Cool.
And like I said, there's 5 of us that did it. And, we agreed on a lot of stuff, but there's some of us that thought other people's were, but it's
natural.
That's what's great about it. There's 5 of us and, But with that said, man, people, it's all for fun. And thank you so much, Tommy.
Yes,
Is there anything you want to leave off with tonight?
Just everyone from my gym who fought over the last weekend and the past 2 weeks fucking killed it. A lot of Triforce guys on CES. Pretty much every fucking card was a Triforce guy. And then Travis over at Cage Titans and, just fucking kill it.
Excellent, man. Well, congratulations to all the fighters over the weekend, like you said,
all
that
fighters.
had wins.
Wins, losses, or
Mike
draws, man. Everyone to fight.
With his, he had a knockout, his pro debut. Richie Santiago, we wish you the best, man. We know you're bringing fighters under your wing right now, as far as helping them with their careers.
Great training partner.
You have so much knowledge to help these guys and girls along with their careers. Also, Richie, we are always open for you to come here on a Wednesday night and co-host with us in the podcast room.
That.
You want to come every Wednesday, any Wednesday? Yeah. You are always welcome. I know you train with Tommy on Wednesday nights, so you ever want to come down here, I know you're going to be an integral part of Cage Titans also moving forward. So congratulations and all the power to you on your future endeavors, kid.
Absolutely, Richie.
So with that said, Tommy,
you're done. You're done talking.
This
for the
weekend,
night.
I do have my little drum.
Rocco concert. We'll call it a concert.
My concert. My kid. What was it called?
Recital.
My recital.
You're gonna have your little tie on.
Yeah, I'm gonna record it.
Yeah.
You might not see it.
Go live.
Record it. Not going live. Not going live. Never. So with that said, thank you so much. Next Wednesday, we do not have guests yet. So if you would like to be on the podcast,
anyone from Cage Titans, come on in.
Yes. If you'd like to come down next week, we always have an open seat. And if you want to call in, just hit me up on Messenger. You just can't be just some schmo training in the gym and want to get some air.
That's how I came in.
You got to have an amateur fight or two come in. You can't be like 0-12. I want to get to you, but that's unless you're a comedian on the side and make me laugh my ass off.
There you go.
You're not coming on.
Yeah, right. You got to bring something else to the table.
So with that said, great being back, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick Hailer.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Nick Hailer, you were great tonight. I wish I had you on longer, but you knew Mike would take the whole show over.
We'll get him back on here for some deep dive shit.
Definitely. And thank you, Mike Polvere, as always, for giving us the time. And thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
For a great show.
Always
and thank
nice.
you for following us.
Everyone
Follow
watching?
us at New England MMA everywhere. Everywhere. Just Google it. We'll show up. Follow the Room Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and IG, and everywhere on Spotify, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.